welcome. And if you're looking to buy an Outsunny polytunnel, I hope you find this video before you go out and buy one. The main reason people would buy one of these, and this one is 6 by 3 meters, is to give you a dry, covered growing space cheaply, and I'll get to that in a minute. In fact, at the end of the video, I'll go over on my whiteboard a few pros and cons, a few ideas, and maybe just give you something to think about before you buy one of these. Now, I said a cheap growing space. This tunnel was, I think, £150. Now, personally, I didn't buy this as a covered growing space. I was building a first tunnels polytunnel, and I needed somewhere dry to store things and to work, because I treated all of the timber in that one before I put it up. But that's by the by. But is it cheap? £150 for a 6x3 polytunnel. You may think that's a great price, but straight out of the box, these are not fit for purpose. For if you think you can go and buy one of these, put it up, job done, unless you're in a very, very sheltered position, you will have issues. And it's I'm saying here, the second biggest reason, or the second biggest problem with them, is the wind, and the fact that they cannot deal, and it even says so on the label, straight out of the box, with a wind above 27 miles an hour. Now, if that's realistic to you where you are, happy days. But for most people, that isn't realistic, and you are going to have to do something else, some extra work, to strengthen it in some way. And later on, we'll have a good walk around, and I'll explain everything and show you all the issues I've had. So like I say, you can make an informed decision, because you are going to have to spend more money and spend more time getting it structurally safe or structurally sound for the wind. All right, and there's loads of great videos on YouTube of how to do that. But my number one issue, and there's no getting away from this, it's the sheet, the covering. Now, there's people that say they've had their covers for 5 years. Now, possibly the green covers, this is a clear one, may be better. I don't know, I can't verify that. But this sheet is only 18 months old. The end, and there again, we'll have a walk around in a minute and I'll show you everything. The end is ripped, but ripping, that's by the by. Any polytunnel sheet can rip. That's not my issue. My main issue is, and there again, I'll show you in a minute. You see all the squares, the small bits of plastic inside those squares, the clear part of the cover, after 18 months with the sun, they have degraded and started to fall out. So I've got tiny bits of plastic all over the place. Which, to be fair, it's not too bad because it's only just starting to happen. But the reason I'm doing this, I'm just in the process, I'm going to recover it. and that'll be another video. But they just fall out all over the place. And also, from the day it was put up, this tunnel leaked. It leaked along the central ridge. Not a massive amount, but if you had something in here and you were storing it underneath open and you wanted it to stay dry, it's not going to. All right. Now, I did quite a bit of work on this tunnel to get it safe and usable. And I think the best thing, I'll just give you a walk around so you can see the issues I've had, how I've overcome them. And like I say, you can make your own mind up then whether one of these is worthwhile. Yeah. Right, let's go and have a look. Okay, so let's start with the outside and start with the door end. Now, these tunnels come with a zip up opening. Now, for me, within 2 weeks, that zip broke and I had to put a door in, which obviously you can see in front of you. Now, there is a complete playlist of this polytunnel if you want to go and see it on my channel. And so that was the first thing. The zips went and I had to put a door in it. Now, we're 18 months on and that's the state of the sheet. And it's also gone rusty. All right, now I'm down by the sea, so it's a salt air, but it has. Now, if I was doing this again, and the number one thing I'd say to people is, instead of putting it on the ground, like I did, there again, it was only ever going to be a temporary shelter. Instead of putting it on the ground, put it up on some wood. Get a wooden base and put it on that. And there's 2 reasons for that. A, you get the bottom rail out of the ground, so there's less chance of rusting. And also, when you put the sheet on, I mean, this one that I did, I pulled it down and I banked up sand around it to hold it in place, and that worked. But by doing that, once you've pulled it tight and got it, well, as tight as you can, and you've got the sand put up on it, you cannot pull that sheet any tighter. And over time, this thing will settle into the ground and the sheet will go loose. There's no getting away from that, it just will. All right. And if you put a wood base around it, say 6x2 or something like that, and then batten the sheet down to that 6x2, at least then at a push, you could pull that batten off and retighten it. All right. So that's just one thought if you're going to do it. Put it up on a base. Now, the other issue I had was with the side vents. These here, they just literally fold up, and you're supposed to be able to tie them up at the top, and there was a tie there, but that's disappeared. So you can't actually roll them up anymore. And they're just held in place with Velcro, which gets dirt and muck in it and no longer works. But worse than that, if I lift it up, there's supposed to be a mesh here, and that's just degraded and there again worn away. All right, so that's the 2 big issues I've had with the outside of it. I'll just go up the other end and I'll just show you what I did at that end. Now, at the far end, I did similar to the door end. I put in what looks like a door structure, but it isn't actually a door, and I just put that in to strengthen it, to stop the side, or to stop it blowing from side to side, and to give it a bit more rigidity. And at the top, and I'm glad I did this, I put in a vent, just so that any air that gets in can then get out. And I think that's the only reason that this sheet is still on here, to be fair, because once we had the wind and it did rip the sheet, even though the wind got inside, it could get out, which stopped this just blowing up like a balloon and possibly blowing away. So that's the outside. Let's go and have a look at the inside. Right, so we're on the inside now, and you can see I've made door frames, for want of a better word, on each hoop. And the reason I did that, or I had to do that, is because now this may not be such a big problem on a shorter tunnel. This is 6 meters long, so there's a massive side loading along the side from the wind. All right, so in my case, every joint along the hoop bent with the wind. It's a weak point and they will bend there. In fact, that one there completely snapped, and I've just strengthened it. So I had to support here and here to stop it collapsing. All right, there again, no big shakes, but that's what I had to do. There again, my time, more money for timber, screws, etc. Now, a mistake I made is when the sheet went loose and started to rub, I put some of this pipe lagging around the pipe. That pushed it out a little bit and held the sheet a bit tighter. But that stuff also degrades in sunlight, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. Yeah, that was a mistake I made. So that's there. Like I said, this, where's my finger? This top ridge leaks, and it leaked from day one, or not day one, but the first time it rained. Not a major issue, not a deal breaker, but just something to think about. Right, I'll try and hold you as still as I can, because I've got the phone above my head. This is my number one issue with it. If you can see there, where's my finger gone again? All the plastic is starting to degrade in the sun and just drop out. So this basically has become a woven sieve, just leaking water. And also, if you're trying to keep it warm, letting the cold air out. That one there is completely broke. And like I say, this cover is 18 months old. All right, so I think that's everything. There's a chair of contemplation. Excuse the mess. Like I say, I'm clearing this out to so I can get here and recover it. And you might be thinking, well, if it's so rubbish, Pete, why are you recovering it? The reason for that is I'm in the process of building a shed up here, because I haven't got a shed, and I just need somewhere to store things. And a new cover for this was £42, so I thought it's easier just to chuck another cover on it, and it'll give me a few more months of dry space and storage for everything until I've built my shed. All right, now that's how I look around and showing you everything I can think of that I had issues with. Now before you run out and buy one, I'll just sit down with the whiteboard, go over a few things, some of them you probably won't like, and just see what you think about what I've got to say. Okay, so I've got the whiteboard out, and hopefully I'll just give you something to think about. And you're probably not going to like it because it involves delayed gratification and, where do I put it, saving up and going without. And that's what I did to, if you're more observant, of you will have seen my first tunnel next door. And I saved up and went without for 12 months in order to get that, because I knew I really wanted a growing space covered that I could enjoy. And that is the biggest takeaway from getting that tunnel. I'm going to talk about first tunnels because I've got no experience of other ones. All right, that's the one I chose, and that's the one I've got. And in there, I absolutely love it. All right, simple as that. And 12 months goes in a heartbeat. It really does. But most people want instant gratification. Well, you can't always get that. All right, now I'll just go over a few things there again, just to make you think, and you know, you make an informed decision. The Outsunny tunnel, 6x3, cost £150, cheap enough, no issue, if it was fit for purpose. I then spent, well, I've put 100 quid on extras. That's the timber, the screws, door hinges, things like that. All right, I don't think that's excessive. A new cover, I've just rounded it up to make it easy, £50. We'll say your cover lasts you 5 years, and that's not being optimistic. It won't last 5 years completely unscathed, I'll tell you that for nothing. As you can see, my side vents have gone, and every single Outsunny tunnel that I've seen people do a review on, even if it's still up and not blown away, those side vents have blown out. Might not be a deal breaker for you, but I'm just saying. So over 10 years, that tunnel has cost you 300 quid. Cheap enough. Very good, in fact. But what price is peace of mind? And what I mean by that is, every time there's a gale, you're thinking about, is my tunnel still up? How are my plants inside it, and how are they doing? All right. Now that's one other thing, is what price is being happy in your space? You'll never get this cover tight enough that it's not blowing. Or if you can, you're a better man than me. All right, because like I said outside, unless you put it on something solid, it will shrink or drop into the soil or the sand. And if you dug it into a trench, there's no easy way then of retightening the cover. So that's just something to think about. All right. Now, I priced up the first tunnel to the pretty much the same size, and that came to £900. All right, 3 times the cost of that. But for your 900 quid, you get everything. Every nut, bolt, screw, piece of wood, door hinge, everything. Ground anchors, absolutely everything ready to go. You just got to put it up. Whereas with this, you had to buy wood. The heat tape on the bars would have been a much better idea than what I did. So you got to buy heat tape, things like that. All right, so there we go. I'm just putting out there and giving you ideas. I've put washing because my tunnel needs a wash. The stuff to do that is £7. Wash it once a year, £70. So in 10 years, the first tunnel is going to cost me 970 quid. All right. Well, you may be thinking, yeah, but it's 900 quid, Pete. That's 3 times the cost. This is where we come to the saving up and going without. If you could put aside £2.50 a day, that's not a Starbucks coffee. That's less than a Starbucks coffee. Make your own sandwiches, take to work, things like that. That's £17 a week, or £75 a month. If you break it down and you really want a tunnel that you can be happy in, that's the biggest thing for me. I don't worry about that tunnel. I don't worry whether it's going to blow away. I go in there, it's not flapping about, you know. So there we have it. Just something to make you think about. I know a lot of people won't like it. To my mind, saving up these days and a bit of delayed gratification isn't a thing, but I'm old. Now, don't get me wrong, I messed up shitloads when I was young and I made loads of stupid mistakes, but just think about this. In 12 months' time, you could have a tunnel that's so much better than this. It really is. Size-wise, I put more space. And that is because the first tunnels, they go straight up before they come in. There's a slight curve, but not a lot. So you can get a lot further to the sides than you can in this one. It's a lot higher. You haven't got to worry about walking in and banging your head. I mean, the original zip-up doors on this, you have to duck to get in. All right, just putting that out there. And one thing I would say, if you're looking to buy a tunnel, try and go for one as wide as possible, as wide as you can afford. In fact, I would sacrifice some length in price to go wider. The one I've got is 14 feet wide. I would say 12 foot minimum if you can, because that way you can get 3 rows of beds in, so you get more growing space. All right, more growing space for your money. That's just my advice. So there we go. I know you might not like it and say, oh, it's all very well for you, oh, you lovely tunnel. I got it because I waited, I saved, I went without certain things, and now I am so glad I did, because that tunnel is brilliant and I love being in it, I love growing in it, and I don't worry about it. I'll do a full review of that tunnel in a month or so, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you didn't get too upset with what I've said. And I hope it's given you some food for thought. Well, thanks very much for watching. Cheers and go on.